HP Tuners has sent me their smart access cables so I could get the ECU unlocked in the red HELLCAT Magnum. I'll be doing that a little bit later because today I am taking the red HELLCAT Magnum drifting and we're taking the blue HELLCAT Magnum the track, which also has a smart access cable in it and the ECU is unlocked. So the battery's dead. Shit, I didn't. I drove it like a couple weeks ago. It's a brand new battery. Okay. What was that? Did the ramp fall off?
Fine.
What am I hitting? We got both Magnums loaded onto the tow truck and the trailer, and I wanted to drive the blue Magnum, but unfortunately the ABS 3D print for the fan shroud ended up sagging and melting a little bit. So I need to get the group buy going for the PA6 GF25, which is half nylon, half carbon fiber. So that group buy needs to get going, but I want to still take the car, and I'm gonna do a ton of drifting in the red Magnum. What? The tent, it's in the car.
All right.
All the stuff's in the car. You ready?
Can you lock the door?
Yeah, I need to go grab gloves. That's what I forgot. The PPR with both of the HELLCAT Magnums. Look at that. So I need to figure out the red one I'm going to be drifting, and the blue one, since the fans aren't, well, the fan's working, but fan shroud will continue to melt. I'm just going to enter it into the car show. I'd like to do the drags. There's all kinds of stuff around here. All the drift cars look like they're over there. I'm just kind of not even close to them. Everybody's always mad about the yellow tape, but nobody cares about when we're at places like this.
Drive their cars, I swear.
drifting the red Magnum, and she's been doing surprisingly well. The HP 90 works. I've heard people say that they want to use them for drifting, and just in the stock form, they work very well. I'm not having any issues. It's actually shifting through the gears pretty up and down really nicely. Sounds good. I thought I was going to go through more tires than I did. I still have quite a bit of tread left. I probably have a good maybe 3 or 4 more runs, but besides that, it's doing very well. All the AEG suspension. I don't have an angle kit, so I'm just drifting with stock angle, which is the story of my life, because I don't really want to have an angle kit on a car that I drive on the street all the time. And then the blue Magnum, I unfortunately wasn't able to rip it around very much, but it definitely attracted a ton of people. Didn't win anything. I wasn't expecting it to, just because I don't have a dash in it and quarter glasses. But the whole event, I'm pretty sure this car has the most pictures and media attention out of everything that's here. So that's pretty cool. Eventually I'll get all that stuff fixed, but I think we're going to load the cars up because there's a drift skills battle, and it's going to last probably a good couple hours, and then it'll be around 8 or 9 o'clock. So I think it'll just be a little bit nicer to get everything back. We still have a 2-hour drive back and unload and then back home. So it's time to call it a day, go home. They're still going to be going till like 11, but most of it's fireworks and a little bit more drifting. I wish I could do some drags in the blue car, but one day. Red HELLCAT Magnum did great. The one issue is drifting with stock angle on a HELLCAT, because the front wheels and the width is so wide. You pretty much have to kind of know where the sway bar's at, because the wheel will get stuck on the sway bar and it will actually lock it up. But now that we're back, the reason why I waited to do this, I could have actually stuck this in the car before the event, but I need to put this in, need to pull the factory tune off the ECU. Then you have to send the ECU to HP tuners, and then they're going to unlock it. They're going to open it and do whatever they do inside of it. And then I'll be able to tune everything when I get back, because I have 1300cc injectors. I have the same pulley that I have on the blue HELLCAT Magnum. So this car should make similar power. In the box, HP Tuners gives you all the instructions, and it shows you exactly which plug you need to plug this pass-through cable into. Gateway module is on the driver's side under the kick panel, so you're going to have to move this cover. There's 2 Phillips right here. You're gonna have to move this or just drop it down, and then you could reach in there and plug this in. And it's pretty easy to get to. So this right here is the gateway module. It's right next to the amp on the other side of it. And I believe the plug you want is this larger one right here. So you literally just unplug it like so. And then you're going to plug in, if you're doing this one-handed, I've always found it easier to plug in this first. Like so, bam. So now it's in, you can see it's sitting right there, it just passes through. The one thing, they probably could make this cable a little bit shorter, but I think each version of this dash harness is a little bit different. So mine, you can see that it's loomed right there. I think I've gotten them where they split up here, and that's why this is as long as it is. So if it is super tight like that, it'll still be fine. Shouldn't have any issues, but it just passes through the gateway. So let's put all this back together. I just take my MPVI3 and I can plug it into the OBD2 port. I think we're in there. Plug it into my laptop. Now that everything's plugged in, what I need to do is I need to put the ignition into on, but not running. So now I come down to VCM editor, open this. hit OK. Then we're going to click on this button right here to read the vehicle. If you have two cars that have HP tuners, I actually had to close it up here because it kept showing my blue HELLCAT Magnum's ECU. And then I clicked the read. So now we just need to come down here and hit read, and it'll pull everything off of this car's ECU. And you don't want to mix them up because, especially with having two different cars with two different power levels, you don't want to be swapping stuff around. So I'm going to label everything on this as the red HELLCAT Magnum, or I'll just put gold HELLCAT Magnum because it'll eventually be gold. And then I'll kind of be able to distinguish which one it is. Now I need to turn the ignition off and wait 10 seconds and then back on and then click OK. So we're going to off. Now I just need to click OK. Now it's doing, I believe, the transmission. Yeah, it's doing the AHP transmission. Right now the transmission is done. I need to still do the same thing. Turn off the ignition for 10 seconds. Now we're going to hit OK. Now it has a place to save the files. So I want to put the file name, as we'll do, like I said, gold HELLCAT. We're connected. We should see, let's see, make sure yeah, so this is correct. Factory fan at high speed 216, low speed 208. We're perfect. So now all I need to do is send this file off. I need to box the ECU up. Pretty much why I waited to put all this cal and the windshield wipers on, because to do an HP Tuners upgrade on a HELLCAT, the ECU is actually behind the strut tower in between this box. And when everything's together, you have to pull the windshield wipers, you have to pull this upper cal. If you do have a hood on there, the hood's kind of in the way. Sometimes it makes it a little bit easier to loosen these 13s right here so you can get this bar moved forward. These connectors, you can see this little button right here. You have to push that in before this lever will come up. And sometimes these will get kind of stuck because there's these two slides. Dust, dirt, water can get into those slides. So if it's not coming, you kind of want to work this back and forth as you're pulling this connector up. It's hard to do with one hand, but I have just pulled this off. But you can see the little tabs in there. So you can see those little tabs in there moving. You don't want to break this, break those, because if you do that, if you do break those, you can just push them with a flathead. But it's just, then you have to order all this whole connector, and it's a pain. So if you're not an electrical guy, you don't want to break that, because then you have to depin the whole connector and repin it into a new one. Now we have the connector off. What I want to do now is pull these two 10s, save my bracket, because you don't want to send the bracket in. And you also can't pull these 10s and get that bracket off in the car. I'd also recommend, if there's a little rubber grommet down here, to pull this off and just save it. You don't want to send anything extra with the ECU, because sometimes, I've never had it happen with HP tuners, but other places you send something in they have to take off because they have to split this, and you end up not getting it back. I also recommend, when sending this ECU in, is getting some masking tape and then just using a Sharpie and writing your order number on the ECU on the masking tape. So if anything happens, then they'll know exactly which ECU it is. Plus these have VIN numbers on the back, so if anything does happen, you can just tell them the VIN number for your car. But I would just be as careful as possible, especially now that Dodge has done the update. Pretty much if you lose an ECU I'm pretty sure if you lose an ECU, you have to replace the ECU, the RF hub, and I believe now the body control module, because they're trying to mitigate people being able to, and maybe the gateway, because they're trying to mitigate people trying to steal these cars. So there's like locking down the modules 100%. So let's get this off to the post office and we'll have an unlocked ECU in about a week. So probably usually less, but I just always figure a week. Super stoked to be working with HP Tuners again on another project, and I cannot wait to get the ECU back so I can finally tune the fans, tune the new injectors, tune the smaller pulley, and I'll probably end up having Mish do all that because he did everything with the blue HELLCAT Magnum, and it works perfectly fine. Super pumped and stoked about that car. We still have a little bit of fine tuning, just been street tuning that car. I'm going to end the video here. If you like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, throw a thumbs up, throw a comment below. If you haven't been getting notifications, click that bell in the corner, turn all notifications on if you want to see all the videos. And as always, see you guys next time.